noses pressed against brick and drifting smoke. A squad crowds a doorway that won't give, hinges jammed, lock reinforced, every second loud. Ahead, a tripwire glints. No engineers. No issued charge. If they stall, the building wakes up and starts collecting bodies. A corporal pulls out a cloth bundle, wire tight, nothing stamped, nothing logged, nothing that officially exists. A match flares. The fuse spits. He rams it into the frame and they hit the floor. The blast is compact and brutal. The door folds inward, dust blooms, the corridor stays quiet. Armies write rules for control. Soldiers break them for survival. Tonight, we count down 10 banned, restricted, or unofficial explosives soldiers used anyway. Stay with me, because the final entry isn't just what they used, it's why they kept using it even after it horrified them. To understand why men reached for the forbidden, you have to understand what allowed was supposed to mean. When we say banned here, it doesn't always mean a treaty. More often it meant unit orders, doctrine limits, or the kind of deniable practice nobody wanted written down. On paper, demolitions were measured and approved. In reality, the battlefield was rubble and panic, where an approved charge was days away, and a scavenged block of explosives was right there. This countdown escalates from things merely frowned upon to choices that leave a permanent mark. We begin at the edge of regulation, where unauthorized still felt temporary. Number 10. Grenade bundles. When the armor showed up and the proper weapons didn't, soldiers built muscle out of desperation. They tied grenades together, 2, 3, sometimes more, hoping the combined blast could crack a track or punch a weak plate. It was not authorized for a simple reason: it was unpredictable. One snag, one bad throw, and the shortcut killed the man using it. Infantry built panic solutions in minutes, with shaking hands and a deadline. Number 9. Short fuse grenades. A standard fuse gave a man time to hear the clink and throw death back. In trenches and stairwells, soldiers tried to steal those seconds, altering fuses to make the delay shorter than regulations ever intended. Command hated it. The front line loved it. It was fast. Sometimes too fast. Misjudge a count or snag a pin, and the grenade becomes friendly fire. The paperwork calls it grenade use. The truth was engineering under stress. Number 8. Booby traps disguised as ordinary objects. In a retreat, you don't always have time to hold ground, so you leave teeth behind, tripwires in door frames, a crate that looks abandoned, a souvenir that isn't a souvenir. These traps were quietly discouraged because they blurred the line between combatant and environment. You weren't fighting a soldier anymore. You were fighting the room itself. Number 7. Souvenir explosives. When supply lines snapped, soldiers stopped caring whose stamp was on the casing. Captured mines, demolition blocks, enemy grenades, anything explosive became potential salvation. Officially, it was frowned on due to unfamiliar fuses and unknown stability. But the battlefield doesn't wait for approved deliveries. Survival demanded whatever was in your hands right now. Number 6. Jam tin bombs. You didn't need a factory when you had a tin can, scrap metal, and something that would detonate. Soldiers packed makeshift containers with nails, bolts, and shattered wire, creating brutal, close-range killers from kitchen trash. They were inconsistent and unreliable, but the trench wanted results, and it wanted them tonight. Number 5. White phosphorus. It wasn't always forbidden, but it was heavily restricted because it did more than kill. It flushed men out of holes and burned with a cruelty that stayed visible long after the shot was over. Official language called it screening or signaling. Up close, there was nothing clean about it. This is where explosives stop being weapons and start becoming geography, poisoning the air and the exits. Number 4. Thermite and burn charges. Thermite was meant for one job: destroying equipment you couldn't carry away. Turn a radio into slag so the enemy gets nothing. But burn charges started appearing in places where equipment destruction wasn't the whole story. Explosions are a violent punctuation mark. Thermite is slower, deliberate, and heavier on the mind. Number 3. Improvised mines. When a line was too thin, troops built their own insurance. A grenade under a board, TNT with a pressure trigger. These instant mines were the reason commanders called them forbidden. Invisible hazards don't stop when the shooting stops. A battle moves on, and later, a friendly patrol pays the price for a defense they never saw laid. Number 2. Urban collapse charges. In cities, walls aren't cover, they're weapons. Demolition charges were meant for measured destruction, but desperate infantry used them to drop floors and turn buildings into traps. One blast could bury a machine gun nest or deny a rooftop forever. It was restricted because the story afterward was always ugly. It's no longer clear the room, it's erase the room, along with whatever questions it might answer. Number 1. The deniable detonator. The final banned explosive isn't a device, it's a habit. It's using charges in ways that could be denied or mislabeled. A blast blamed on the enemy. A burned-out room explained as an accident. Doctrine demands accountability. Covert necessity demands silence. These weren't monsters. They were men trapped between orders and survival, doing what worked and hoping the paperwork never caught up. History remembers approved weapons. Veterans remember what worked when the rules ran out. Because in the end, the most dangerous explosive wasn't TNT. It was the moment a soldier stopped believing the rule book mattered.